Good morning everyone, it is the 4th of April, it's just after 7 AM and I've sent the email out. So for new viewers of the video, just to go through the layout, we've got the 10-minute chart here, 30-minute chart, 2-hour chart and the daily chart, just so you know what I'm looking at. So if we just maximise the 30-minute chart, basically what I'm looking at today is support around about the 6125, 6130 area, and resistance at around the 6160 area, somewhere up here. So I think those are the two levels to watch initially this morning. I'm still favouring downside, really. I'm still feeling bearish. As I mentioned in the email, the S&P has pushed on up to 2073, but the FTSE hasn't really followed. It's not, last time it was at, the S&P was at 2050 and the FTSE was at 6,200. And obviously they've become a bit more disconnected. The S&P is also just testing the top of the 10-day Bianca channel at 2073, so it might well get a bit of a dip from there. And if it does, I think that will mean that equities in Europe, so DAX and the FTSE, will drop as well. So basically, I'm looking at a short around about that 6160 area. And if I just go to the 2-hour chart, which is this one, you can see that our coral line, which is this green and then red line here, basically a trend indicator, has turned red. So even despite that pullback, on Friday, that bounce, we've come up, we're testing that area, and I expect that line could well act as resistance. So that at the moment is at 6161. So yet another thing there. We're also bearish with the whole moving averages. So this purple line has just capped a couple of those little rises there as well. So resistance on that at about the 6156 area. So as I said, between 6150 and 6160, I think is quite a good area to go short today. Certainly for a test of 6130 and possibly lower. So just looking at the daily chart. The RAF channels, the 20-day is still just about heading upwards, but not quite as steeply as it was, mainly as we've been within this 6,100 to 6,200 range for what feels like forever, really. So a few little spikes below down to the 6080 area, something like that. But generally, most of the candles since, where are we? 11th of March really have been between 6,100 and 6,200. So obviously we need a break of that range for some bigger moves really. So the 10-day RAF, that is heading down. However, moving averages, the coral line are all still bullish. We've also got this orange line, which is the 200 EMA. Just to act as capping any rises, and resistance on that is at 6234 currently. So back to the 30-minute chart, and really it's positive to start the day. We've got the moving averages here. The faster one, the 10 period, is above the 25, so there is a bullish bias to start with this morning. But as I mentioned, there's those resistance levels up at the 6155, 6160 area. So we shall see. The coral line here for support. So I've put in sort of an initial dip really, mainly because as I was writing the email, we were at the 200 EMA area at 6153. So as you can see, we've kind of dropped off a little bit from that as well, just to start things off while I've been writing the email and doing this video. So yeah, it's fairly simple really. 6124 for a long and 6160 for a short initially. Not much more to say really apart from that. So good luck everyone, and thanks for watching. Any questions, please drop me an email.